Welcome back to Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. This is Nikki Batgirl D'Angela with a special report, number 21. I was able to interview Ben Lesnick tonight about the patch, upcoming releases, upcoming events, ships, and of course the M50 350R controversy. And don't worry, they're not going away forever. They're limited ships and they will be back from time to time for sale. I, on the other hand, don't agree with that totally. Well, I didn't until talking to Ben tonight, and I understand why they had to do it, and it's one of these things that when CIG says something, they want to make sure that they are always believed. They don't want to be a big-time developer that says one thing and then takes it back later. So I applaud them in trying to stay true to what their original statements were. Even though I think it hurts the game somewhat, I think it does build character for the company, and it sets a standard. So with no further ado, I'm going to get right into the interview with Ben, where we were able to talk about different things. The patch, upcoming events like CitizenCon and PAX Australia, and some other fun things, and new ships coming out. But he didn't tell us which ones. And here is the interview, and I am sorry for Ben's audio quality. Please send him a better headset. That's the next gift he needs. Ben needs a quality headset. Thank you all very much, and I'll talk to you after the interview. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. I am doing an interview today with Ben Lesnick, and it's going to be an audio only due to us not being able to get someone to film Ben's side. I just can't handle the audio not syncing up when I do the Skype videos. It annoys me, and I think it might annoy some of you all. But today I'm going to ask Ben some questions about the recently released patched version 0.9 of Arena Commander or patch version 13 of the Hangar module. It's one of those two. And we're going to talk a little bit about the controversy that surrounded the implementation of the 350R Racer and M50 Racer going for sale permanently and then being removed. So I'm going to get right on with it, and we're going to say hello to Ben. Hey, Ben, how are you today?
Hey, well, first, let's just go out and say it. We're doing an audio interview instead of video interview because I did not feel pretty today.
You don't feel pretty. You don't sound pretty either. You still have that really compressed audio every time I talk to you on that side. You know, with your pull, you should be able to get better headsets.
Well, like most of the equipment here at CIG, it's whatever shows up free.
Yeah.
Crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding, yeah, free crowdfunding. Yeah, I'd rather it be free than you guys have to pay for things, because I would hate for you to take resources away from building us something really cool, like releasing the Cutlass finally.
That is our philosophy too. We also believe in releasing the Cutlass, so that's fun.
Yeah, good. I can't wait to see that. It's one that I gave up, but will definitely be back in my hangar the minute it comes out again. Well, I know I could buy it today, but I want to fly it. So I'm gonna give you my side of what I feel about this controversy that's going on. And now that I created a thread and had a couple hundred people answer it today in general chat, I get a greater idea of what you guys were up against. So over a year ago, you started offering the not the M50, but the 350R for sale. It was released in a package called the Lightspeed. I think it was actually more than over a year ago. It was probably 18 months ago. It was one of the original ships, or was it after?
It was after the original ship. I think it was at the end of the original campaign. We did what we call the Wave 2 ships, the M50 Caterpillar, Starfare, and so on.
So the way I see it is that back then, there were no real plans to implement racing at the point. So this was going to be a really cool ship, limited edition, that some people would be able to get. Now, the points that I'm going to make are from my understanding of what's been said by you, Sandy, Chris, and other people that I've listened to in depth since I got involved with the game back the 27th of August of 2013. So limited ships came in two different variants back then. There were truly limited ships that would be limited production runs, and then there were limited sales that were going to be sold for a limited amount of time because the ship wasn't flyable, it wasn't going to be in the hangar, it wasn't out now. So it was kind of to see the buy-in and also get some things out to the backers that were spending money to have something cool. Eventually, all the ships are going to be attainable in the game. So these are the things that I understand, but I don't know if things like the limited variants, which are like the Freelancer MIS, the 350R. Each one of the original 5 has a limited variant. We have the Phoenix, the MIS, the 350R, the Aurora LX, and the Hornet, Super Hornet F7CM. Those are truly limited production models, correct?
Yeah, actually, I should stress one thing that confuses people. They look at like the 350 and say, oh, but you're only building a limited number of these in the final universe. That's accurate, but it's also true of every single ship in the game.
Right.
Since they're all tied into our economy, there are as many 300s, 325s, 315s, 350s as there is demand and resource to produce in the final game.
Okay.
The 350 is simply produced in more limited numbers than the other models.
Which is why it comes out occasionally for sale, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second piece of that is there's also a second piece of the economy that comes into play to keep certain models limited, like there is in the real world, and that's pricing of the ships. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like when we look at a ship like the Hornet and we look at a ship like the Aurora, you've got most of the ships that are being sold being the Aurora at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then
right.
fewer ships being the different versions over $100. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so a way of keeping certain variants limited, whether it was intended early or not, is by having different ships being priced into the point where some people are going to buy them now, other people are going to wait until they could go fly to whatever system it's sold in the persistent universe, gather their credits by doing missions, and then buy it there.
Yeah, I mean, really, anything we sell right now will be available in the finished game.
Okay.
And the goal is to fund the game at this point. Any ship, whether it's limited or unlimited or rare or common, right now it's money going to support the game rather than to kind of create the finished economy of ships that
Right.
here in the game.
So I know only 11 or 1,200 people watched my video and got to see what Sandy had to say about esports. So esports is going to be brought into the Star Citizen universe through this medium, which is going to be racing. So the Murray Cup is going to be an esports tournament that's going to start next year. We'll get more information around that around January. That's what.
Yeah, we're talking very seriously about that, but we don't have a plan to announce yet.
Right, but we know that that's coming. But she said that on my show. She also said that we were looking for sponsors for it. My belief with that is AMD is probably one of the sponsors since they have their logo on a ship. And when you get a sponsor, they're paying for venues, they're paying for transportation to and from the venue for the participants, they're paying for bandwidth, they're essentially paying for the tournament. So that goes into putting these ships on some kind of a, commercialized version of it being sold with AMD. So that took care of that piece of it. But the M50 and the 350R currently are the racers, and we're trying to build that excitement around it so the tournament actually works. So you guys went ahead and put the two racers on permanent sale. And that permanent sale automatically, first with the spacesuit and then with the fact that they weren't limited anymore, got the people that bought early and spent less money on them in a tizzy, which I do understand now, and I apologize for my rant on them, but these ships are going to be available to everybody in the game, and they're not going to be limited that nobody else is going to have it. It's just going to be people are going to have to get it through another means. But I didn't realize this. I go back and I listen to all of your statements from all the Wingman's Hangars, from the Around the Verse, from 10 for the Chairman. There's a second piece of this that people keep forgetting. You guys are going to release other ships whenever the time is right to keep this universe persistent. So 2044, 2944, 2945, 2946. So that's going to make these limited variants in some respect not as favorable as the next variant that's coming in. So the question I have for you is, you've had a week to look at this now, and I get an idea, and that's why I'm trying to paint the picture of what I understand to people. What was the original thought process behind putting them on permanent sale?
Well, let me go back to the beginning for this.
Okay.
So this race, when we originally created the M50 Racer, the idea was that we wanted players to have racing in the game. We figured we'd support it to some degree. I know we even had a short story that talked up the Murray Cup. It's sort of an aside we came up with, and everybody was just sort of very excited about it. The original basis for why we were thinking about it was I remember playing a game called Subspace back in the day, which was sort of a quasi-MMO top-down shooter. And we would get bored of killing each other in subspace, so we would line up at a particular point on the grid and we would race our ships. And it was, it's emergent gameplay at its finest. So when we were thinking of ways to do that in Star Citizen, the idea of a racer M50 came up. When we got to different versions of the 300, we thought, hey, that's kind of like a rally car. Let's do a rally car version. That was the 350R. So that's where the racers came from, and they've sort of captured everybody in the team's imagination since then. Our writing staff said, they're one of the jump points short stories was, oh, so you mentioned the Murray Cup in the fiction. Well, we're going to describe it. There was a ship race story. Meanwhile, the team in the UK, we asked them to come up with some levels for Arena Commander, where they capture the flag, just fun stuff we could do easily without a big budget, so that Arena Commander would be more different because it's a tech demo, it's a physics demo, it's a flight model demo, but we also want people to have some fun. And we were kind of shocked what they came back with, which was the Murray Cup Racing mode you're playing today. It's pretty exhaustive.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so
not realistic in any way, shape, or form, but very cool.
Yeah, Foundry 42 rocks. They go above and beyond. So we clicked to this race mode and we said, okay, well, we're going to have these racing ships in the game. So we'll put them in the game for when we release this mode so people can race. And we'll just sell them permanently so that people can always pick up a racing ship and go in the racing mode. I mean, any ship works with the racing mode, but how cool is it to have an actual race car on the racetrack? And actually, from a financial marketing standpoint, that's kind of a bad idea because when you have a limited sale, everybody goes to buy that limited thing right then, and it's a scarcity, even an artificial scarcity. When we say this will always be available, there's no longer a rush to get it.
Right.
So that was entirely our thinking. We would have this as an option to make the racing mode fun.
Okay.
What we forgot was that we had said in the case of both of these ships, they're limited. They're not always going to be available.
Yeah, that's right. I had to go back and listen to your statement on the M50 because originally it wasn't put anywhere that it was not going to be available because it's taking over for the Avenger, which is why we have the Avenger. It's the new police cruiser, right?
Yeah, the 350 is much more in fiction limited availability.
Right.
The M50 was more of we should have come up with different numbers for those. They sound so similar when you're saying them.
Right.
The 350 was more of an in-fiction, this is limited by the manufacturer. The M50 was a limited ship sale. We have made it available for limited periods in the past.
Right.
But, people went back and they said, oh, you guys, you had said you weren't going to do this. And we looked at it and we said, absolutely.
Yep.
We hadn't thought about that. So we're going to stick to our promise there.
But not.
And, it sucks in some ways. It sucks to say this isn't always available. It would be cool to have it available for everybody. But keeping our promises is very important for a crowdfunded project.
Right.
If we can't make claims and then stick to them, what good are we?
Yeah. Now, when I look at the sales numbers, which are totally arbitrary and pulled from that week-long sale, it looks like the 350R was much more popular than the M50 in the beginning.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So I have, in the thread that I created, amazing people, and thank you so much, everybody, for putting clear, concise, and not getting out of hand like some of the other threads with what your ideas were. And one of the ideas actually hit me as being important. All the lore points to the 350R being a limited variant of the 300i. And what this person said is that should be sold in limited sales whenever you feel fit, whether it be for the week-long sales that you have or specific weekends or at the beginning of each race season, you sell the 350Rs to people. The N50, he said, looks like it was something that was coming. It was brand new. It was coming out. You built this awesome video about it, and you potentially are going to turn away more people by not being able to get it, then you're going to piss off by making it permanent sale. So the way he was looking at it was 350R, take it off the table. They promised that was a limited variant. Sell it occasionally. And his idea was, if we're going to have seasons, sell it at the beginning of each race season. Now, we don't know what those seasons are going to be, right? So that was his idea. But the other idea, and a lot of people started to go along with it, was M50, because you spent all the money on it, you are going to turn more people away than you're going to make upset, because they're going to see this great race mode, they're going to see this awesome commercial, and they're not going to be able to get it. And that's what they were saying.
Yeah, I completely agree that is a shame. And we're looking at other ways to use some of these assets in other ways. I can't say anything yet.
Yeah.
But we're considering some options.
I already know one option. You take the F7C S Ghost, you slim the front of the cockpit and it down a little bit, kind of like you did with the 350R. Take Chris Smith, the better part of a month to do. Put a bubble canopy on it, a huge, the engine from the back of the from the PDF that you guys put out, the brochure. You put that huge 4.4 or 4.3 engine in it. There you go. You have a Hornet racer. That would be awesome. Hey, what's up, James? What?
Yeah, that would be great. In the meantime, we do have 2 Mustang racers coming down the pipeline.
Awesome.
And we will find ways to keep the racing mode fun, even if that just means like issuing temporary passes to let people play with the race ships.
Yeah, I got a question for that. Mm-hmm. I half expected, for reasons that I won't say, that both variants would be in everybody's hangar for them to fly.
We had a plan to do that, and it's not unlikely that it will. It's likely that will happen for a future weekend. It came down to scheduling.
Good.
Our hope was to have the patch out early in the week, give people the week to play with the ships, and then sell them for the weekend. Patch ended up, Friday special. So we didn't do it on launch, but we're pretty committed to the idea of letting people try ships in the future. We have the technology worked out. I would expect to see a lot of that.
Good. I like that. And we're going to get off this subject real quick, because I think the way that you guys are going to handle it is by, hopefully you're not redirecting resources that should be getting our Avengers and Cutlasses into the flyable mode. No,
actually we have full production of the Cutlass right now, and the Avenger is next up in the queue after it. So.
And Gladius?
Gladius is almost ready, actually. It's in the UK, so I don't see as much of it. But the initial Gladius base variant is very close to hangar ready.
All right. So from the minute I saw you at Dragon Con, we're going to get into version 0.9 now, until the day that you left, you were so indisposed half the time, dealing with things that were going on back in Santa Monica. This patch was the biggest endeavor so far at the company, right?
It was certainly a killer. At least those last 2 weeks or so, we really, there's a lot of overtime, a lot of weekend work on this one.
So, first off, amazing. I think everything's great. And we are alpha testing, pre-alpha, as Chris said. But I think at this point we're into alpha.
Well, and I guess alpha is properly defined as feature complete, but doesn't work.
Oh, okay. So we're not feature complete yet.
We're not feature complete.
No, we're pre-alpha. We only have modules, and Arena Commander is not the game, and that's the fun piece of this.
We may get to a point where we're alpha for Arena Commander 1.0, but we're a long way from alpha for Star Citizen.
Okay. So the patch comes out, and it has issues, which I expected it to. I never expected it not to. How could anybody expect it not to?
Well, we hoped.
But even with those issues, not being able to get your private matches working, looking at no match found, stupid things that you're able to fix.
Let me just right now say just that I am in awe of the QA teams in the UK and Austin, who worked through the weekend right after the patch came out, testing and getting the 13.01 out so quickly. It was just great work all around.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get at. When I say stupid things that are easy to fix, I don't mean stupid things that they missed. I mean like stupid things that people are complaining about that are going to get fixed in the first patch.
Yeah, I always see that. I'm in this game forever. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm fine. I know there's a memory leak somewhere because my debuggers tell me there is. But I was so impressed when I did those hanger reviews, and I want to give everybody. And who was that? Is that Behavior, or is that somebody else that did the hangers?
Hangers were Behavior.
Behavior. They are amazing. I've never seen that much detail in any game that I've played. Everything from the mist in the places that it's supposed to be to these big giant mechanical things that are moving that you don't know what they're doing. My guess is they're fuel pumps or air pumps or something. But even to the where you walk up to the door and standing in front of the hangar doors, you could see from the mechanics there how each one of those articulate. Amazing, amazing work. They need people in them. We need NPCs, even if they're broken. I want Sandy's NPC in the janitor outfit cleaning my hangar all the time. So that would be cool. But that was amazing. So when you brought out the hangars, what the bigger issues right now has to do with like people saying they don't read this. It's right in the patch notes. You can't see all your ships in the hangar. So I can't use my 350R right now because it's one of the ships that I can't see. But I just want to make sure that people know two things. One is what ship or a combination of ships get what hangar, and if I get a Cutlass, which gives me the asteroid hangar, is it really true that I get all the other hangars? And the second piece is going to be, well, I'll ask the second question later. So that's the first question. What ships get what hangar, and does it really trickle down the way that it is right now?
That is how it works right now. If you go to Cutlass today, you'll have access to all the hangars, and we would never take that away from you in the future. The hangar system will change. We're working on kind of a much broader hangar launch that's going to take into account different packages and also locations in the PU. So instead of saying, oh, I want the asteroid hangar today, I want the deluxe hangar tomorrow, whatever, it's going to be, okay, I can lock in an asteroid hangar, and it's going to be on the third planet in the Spider system. And that's where I'm going to live in the PU. And if you have multiple accounts, you can have one here, one here, one here, and just we have this idea of you just locking it down permanently. And after that, we'll change the pricing scheme and who gets to do what.
All right, so that's perfect because that's the answer I was looking for. And the second piece is, how do character slots associate themselves with hangars? Do I get a hangar for each character slot, or is it for each package? Okay.
Well, yeah. Right now, you should only have one package per character slot, unless there's a package I'm forgetting about. It should be pretty much 1-1 at this point.
But in the future, I'll be able to buy character slots in the store, the pledge store.
Yeah. And they each have a hangar associated with it.
And they shouldn't have a hangar, right? Because the hangar is associated with the ship and the person, and so you get a package, you get a ship, person, and hangar. But if I'm going to buy the hangar separately, the person separately, right?
Right. So if you buy a package, you get the hangar, the ship, the person all together. In the future, we will offer character slots, and they will be cheap enough that if I want 5 people in this hangar, I buy 5 character slots. But a character slot with a hangar would be separate.
Okay, good. So I don't in the future I won't necessarily get a hangar with a character slot. I'll get a hangar with a package.
Yes, that's right.
Good. Because there's a misunderstanding about how that's going to work, and I kind of understood it from when we talked offline that character slots are just going to be extra NPCs that I could have man my ships. But when I buy a package, I get the whole combination.
That's right. I think the primary plan for character slots are supposed to be a more minor thing than buying a separate copy of the game.
Okay.
And I think the majority of people who want character slots, they want a turret gunner or a buddy to sit next to them or something rather than the whole caboodle. So we will charge less for them and not have the hangar.
Someone to sit in my hot tub with me. Okay, that's perfect. Now, when we're looking at the racing portion of the game, I'm not going to knock it. First off, I'm telling you, outright, funnest part of the game so far for me. I love it. I think they did an amazing job on it. So I'm going to give it all the kudos in the world. It's far from realistic, though. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Being that it acts more like being in space than it does being in atmosphere, I don't care. But was that something that Chris looked at and said, it breaks his idea of having this thing work like it's supposed to be in the universe, or was it purely put in because it's outrageously fun and awesome?
Well, it's actually both things. Chris is happy with it because it exists only inside the world of Arena Commander. So it's a video game you're playing in Star Citizen. So it can still have the quasi-space physics. There's a little bit of the atmospheric physics applied to quasi-space physics in the racing scenario. If/when we have this sort of atmospheric racing in the finished game, expect to have wind resistance and shear and all that stuff.
Okay. So when I talked to David Haddock at DragonCon, he gave me some advice because I do the piece from Michael Moreland every single week on his Galactic Inquiry where I do in-fiction news. Mm-hmm. And he said if I wanted to copy things, the Tuesday, Wednesday things are always in lore. And the things that happen on Fridays, which are the fiction-based, aren't necessarily going to be actual game lore. They might be, they might not be. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah, in the Jump Point, when they described racing, it was done in space. It wasn't done in atmosphere. Are we going to see in-space racing at some point, too? Or now that you have this out, it's just we could do whatever we want in the future?
No, space racing will definitely be a thing.
Okay.
In fact, I was looking at the outline we did for the Murray Cup originally, and it has space legs and atmosphere legs and crazy stunts. So there's all sorts of stuff coming.
There was scooping fuel out of the gas giant to try to get enough fuel to finish the race, too, which reminded me of kind of a pit stop.
That's a mechanic we need in the actual game, so that'll definitely be in there.
Oh, that is awesome. So that breaks it open for more. So right now, we're still in racing, and we're going to go into leaderboards real quick. Leaderboards right now, what kind of input or feedback could you give us from them? Are they working as intended at this point?
They're working to a degree at this point.
Okay.
I see frequently on fire emails where they're like, hey, they stopped recording data. So leaderboards at this point are much more our tool than yours because we're seeing how the servers spit out data at the game and back and forth. We have plenty of ideas for what kind of other data we'd like to present and how to present it. Right now, it's just when you see numbers, that's a good sign.
Okay. And the flight physics in the game have changed dramatically with the... they haven't changed. The flight models have changed. The physics are the same.
Yeah, it's the models and not physics. We've doubled the speed of all the ships. We've changed the handling.
Right.
In fact, we changed the handling a little bit more this morning, hopefully improving it for gamepad players.
Okay. Oh, for gamepad players?
Yeah, we issued 3.0.2 this morning.
Oh, did it actually go out to the...
Yep.
Oh, great. Then I have to download that now. The last one took me 2 hours.
It's like an 18 meg patch.
The last one took 2 hours. I am not getting used to the way that the M50 fights. That it's like old World War II style fighting where you don't get any. You have to use the lead computer instead of it being on gimbaled weapons. That's hard.
It is, but that's what we've been talking about ever since the beginning. It's a skill-based game.
Oh my God, is that hard? Yeah.
But it's so rewarding once you get used to it and you're scoring kills in an M50. You feel like you're on top of the world, and that's a cool thing for a game to do.
Yeah.
So many games these days are just like, as long as you press the button, you're going to keep winning.
Right. And that's how I feel. Like when we had the tournament, did you get tournament results by any chance?
I have the winner. I never got the list of people. I've got to get back on that.
You got the winner, so you're going to announce it on Around the Verse next week?
We are. Yeah.
Because he was awesome. I watched him play. He was incredible. And
we're going to put a site in his account.
Good. He was the one that got me up and running, and I think that's why I did so well. Otherwise, that was the first time I ever did mouse and keyboard. That's where I'm coming to, and that's what made me think of this. The mouse and keyboard, how much easier it is to use the gimbaled weapons on a mouse and keyboard versus the joystick. What things do you think are going to be changed with that? Because there's a lot of joystick players that are discouraged that the weapons don't gimbal anywhere near as much for them as they do for somebody with a mouse and keyboard.
Well, again, I don't want to speak to weapons design because I'm not the guy making that decision. I think you'll find much more of a reward in the future for using the non-gimbal weapons. So in general, that's the overall concept for this sort of thing. If it's too easy to win with this particular weapon, we're not going to remove gimbal weapons entirely, but we're going to say they use more energy, they use up your computer your processing.
Lower punch.
It's just to make it more fair.
Yeah, a gimbal weapon should have a lower punch than a static weapon because they're almost always going to hit. So you're keeping the DP, whatever they're talking about, the potential DPS or DPM the same. I understand that piece of it. That much, I'm asking you questions that people have asked me. So that's pretty cool. That's cool. I saw a decided advance in the graphics, I believe, in the game. Could you tell me if that actually happened? Have the graphics in the Arena Commander matches been increased at all?
Yes, we have some. There were some pretty good new shaders added to the game with the last patch, which is probably what you're seeing.
Okay. And as far as sounds go, it's an awesome beginning. What else can we see along the way of sounds? And I guess that's the increased sounds that we had in the game for the weapons and stuff, which sound incredible, by the way.
Yeah, sounds are getting a lot closer to their final form, and we're also doing a lot more with atmospheric audio. I mean, you probably heard some of the silly PA announcements in the distance in the hangar. We're doing a lot of that kind of things. Some not as obvious as that, Foley work, all sorts of creating that sound world in the background.
All right. I'm being reminded that I need to ask you a question, so we're going to go back to the M50-350R. This is a question I feel weird about asking, but it's something that you guys said, and you're trying to hold true to what you say.
Okay.
All right. So when you went and made them permanent, you increased the price of them because they were going to be permanent. Now that they're back to being limited ships again, limited sales, are you going to decrease the price?
No, the price is going to stay the same.
Yeah, because that would be just like, there were other things that we as early backers got better pricing than later, and you said that was going to be the case.
Yeah, that's going to be the case more and more going forward. In fact, we're going to codify that a little bit tomorrow.
All right.
We're going to talk about how we're going to do concept sales in the future. The idea is the earlier you get on a ship, the cheaper it is.
Which is awesome. And then eventually you have a cap. Are you going to present the cap of that ship cost? In other words, what the highest it's going to be. Like some people do that. If you think about Dragon Con, if I get into it now, it's $75. If I get into it when I go there, it's $130. So are you going to have a price range that you're going to give them about what it's going to be, or?
I don't think there's a practical stated cap, but in general, it's going to be similar to the variants you saw with the M50, which I think started at 90 and ended at 110.
Yeah, that's not a big difference. It is, but it's not much. It's like 30%, 25%.
Yeah, a lot of our pricing is just what feels right.
Okay. Now,
not a great body of market study for fiction spaceships.
Two questions have to do with pricing that go along with this. First thing is, you're not going to be able to answer this. In-game pricing is not going to be set until we know what the economy is in-game. So we're not going to know how this goes towards UEE credits at all. So we're going to leave that one out because the game has to have an economy before you can answer that question.
Yeah, when I'll note that it'll be entirely variable. If Origin is able to manufacture, if players are getting enough resources to whatever the Origin planet is, Bremen, I forget.
No, that's Consolidated Outland. You just put that up there.
Right.
Terra,
okay.
Terra's Origin.
Okay, Terra. So if players are getting enough titanium and computer components and engines to Terra, then they're going to be able to build lots of 300s, and they'll be a little cheaper. If there's a drought, then 300s will get very expensive because they can't build as many.
Okay, that's good.
And then, of course, if 50% of the ships are 300s and 20% are 315s and 20% are 325s and 5%, I didn't add those numbers up at all. Or, it's going to, you'll have similarly numbered 350s.
Okay.
What I would say to do.
Have you guys thought of having, this is premature again, but this is interesting to me, okay? So racing, co-op Vandal, Swarm, and other modes. Have you thought about having you sponsor tournaments with giving away UEE credits between now and when you actually start putting the game live? So people could get UEE credits to buy weapons and other things other than spending their own dollars.
Oh, yes, from playing Arena Commander?
Yeah. Will you be able to do that now? Like, not now, but in the near future?
Yeah, it's a system that's in the work. We want to be, it's going to kick off with our component pipeline that you've probably heard a lot of PR about lately. So we want to have more and more components, and part of that will be earning fake UEC in Arena Commander.
Good.
So that you can kind of outfit your ship to some degree without spending normal human dollars.
$24 for a weapon.
Yeah.
Which I could almost buy an Aurora for that and get 2 weapons and take them off.
Don't even get me started on the gold weapons.
I know.
No, we're not doing it. You'll be stressed right now.
Wait. Are you going to have limited weapons available? No. Like, are you going to have limited weapon sales? Like, yeah. Okay.
No, I don't think.
All right, that's fine. You see where some of these questions are going. You could tell which ones are mine, right? But I'm just trying to do it. So, what I'm really interested with is bringing a little bit more of that immersion into what we have now. So we have these gorgeous hangars, and we have the promise of the room system. I know there's absolutely no way at this point you're going to tell me when the room system is going to be out. Can you give me an opportunity to know what types of rooms besides the armory and firing range I could expect to see in my hangar?
Well, I will say that the room, one is the buggy track. We'll do that buggy track, but we're thinking we want some practical rooms. Bathroom, hangar doesn't have a bathroom, living room, office, just sort of things you would want at home. We want to feel like your space home. But I'll also say that the room system isn't limited to just the hangar. So getting the room system online means that the hangar also plugs into the hallway outside the hangar, and the bar down the street, and the store that sells weapons in the actual game. Right. So it's about building out. It's sort of like when they build the Transcontinental Railroad, and they start on one side of the country, and they're building towards it, and meet in the middle and create the persistent universe.
All right. All right. So we are going to have bathrooms in the hangars, which doesn't matter, right? It does matter. I didn't put this video up, but when we were in the old hangars, they got so big from all the ships that you put in there. I did a video, and I didn't release it yet, of my guy running from the fish tank all the way down to the other side with 20 ships in my hangar. It took like 7 minutes saying, "Where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom?" And getting to the other side and just squatting and then doing this. Yeah. What?
Well, first let me say, in terms of hangar size, that is coming back. I'm very rarely kind of angry in emails to the team, but I was not happy to see that the ability to expand your hangar by switching the max shift value one way, that is coming back.
Was that a mistake, though? That wasn't on purpose, right? That was just an accident.
I think the team's behavior, they thought, okay, you have to have some kind of supercomputer to display this many ships. So
you do.
Stop you from doing it. That was a mistake in the overall plan, but it was intentional on their part. So we're going back and changing that. You'll be able to expand your hangar off the record again.
Okay.
As for bathrooms, I think one of the first moments that I really got Star Citizen was when people started sending angry complaints that some of the ships had bathrooms and others didn't, and what were they going to do? And that's so cool. It means you're in this world.
Yes, it does. And the first thing I looked for in the hangars, because I'm stupid, because someone said, "Are there any bathrooms in the hangar?" So I got in the hangar and I'm doing my review, and I go, "No, you're not allowed to you're not allowed to take a crap," Thomas Crapper, "if you're in this hangar." But I'm like, you know what? It'll be added later. They could do whatever they want. It would probably be a minor change. But they're right.
Glory of the room system.
You know what I mean? And, it's in the Connie, it's in the Freelancer, and in the Cutlass. Is it in any of the others?
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
But, I think, if we were a truly evil company, we would, charge you. We would have, pay toilets.
50 UEC credits to open it. That's awesome. So there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to be coming over the next month, because in 3 weeks' time, I believe it is, you have CitizenCon, and then 3 weeks after that, you have PAX Australia.
Yes, so those are both shaping up to be really cool events.
Yeah, you've got a very busy 6 weeks coming ahead, and then you have version 1.0 dropping at the end of the year, beginning of next year. So I think that's the timeline. I'm not sure.
I think it may be a little bit before that, where we can't announce anything yet.
All right. No, I know that. I'm not looking for announcements. So we got a lot coming on. I am asking you in our question. There are a few women in this game, and I talked to Sandy about it. And we know there are women in this game, but some of us are getting tired of old Baldy who now has hair. And we've seen pictures and we've seen models, and we know that Sandy went out there and did some mocap work for the female model, and there's other people doing the female model mocap works. Are we going to see it in one of the next, like, you don't have to give me a date, but are we going to see it in the future before the end of the year?
Yes, you will see female models in action, but no, I don't think they'll be patched into the hangar yet.
Okay. It's not important, but it is.
Oh, no, it's very important. I genuinely believe that getting women into games...
I'm trying. I got a few.
It's our next big challenge, not just for Star Citizen, but for the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
I said that on like 4 panels of Dragon Con, I know.
Yeah.
But I would love to figure out how to make A, Star Citizen a safe place for women, and B, something compelling that women want to play. So I very much want to see our community avoid some of the pitfalls that others go through. And we're actually talking about that at pretty high levels.
Okay. So
as for the female model, though, all the ones you've seen right now have sort of been hacks. We don't have a Chris Roberts approved female body who can walk around and sing and dance yet. Once that happens, it'll go in the game.
So singing and dancing is going to be in the game. You heard it from Ben Lesnick today.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
that's what killed Ultima Online 2. I remember they had all these dev updates about how there was going to be like furry creature dancing, and I was like, I don't care about this, and it turned out no one else did either.
Richard was on Michael's show, and he's going to be on tomorrow.
I think this was after Richard's time. So
yeah,
okay.
It was. It's whenever that other company that remains nameless in your presence gets their hands on things. Not a good company. Bad.
Well, let me defend them to a degree.
You can't defend them.
Origin would have gone out of business in 1991 if EA hadn't bought them out. And they funded Chris Roberts' biggest games. Without EA's money, we wouldn't have Wing Commander 3, Wing Commander 4. It's when the publisher steps in and takes over the creative aspect, it's when things start to suck.
I understand, and I believe that. And when they keep the IP away from the guy that made it, that's another bad thing.
Yes.
So, that's one of my questions. So say on a whim, I get a petition together and the head of EA, after 300,000 people charged down into Austin or wherever they are now, they're in Southern California, right? Charge down and picket them, and now they give the Wing Commander franchise back to Chris. What happens? We're in Star Citizen now. It doesn't matter, right?
I don't think it would impact Star Citizen. I believe Chris would want to make another Wing Commander game down the road. I know for sure that he would.
Okay.
But we wouldn't throw out Star Citizen right now and make Wing Commander.
The only way I would ever want to see him do a Wing Commander game again is to do a rework, start from the beginning.
Although I tell you what, if Chris had the Wing Commander license, he could pay me in the ability to write fiction for it. Hey, Chris, let me write a novel and publish it, and you don't have to give me any other money. I just want to create stuff in the Wing Commander world.
I'll be all over that one. I still have an unopened box behind me that Tim Wally sent me that has the Pilgrim. I want to open it on my next vlog, so that's going to be good. All right, so I'm winding down here. There aren't many more questions that I want to ask. It's mainly the things that I want to ask are going to be very, very simple, and they're yes or no's. Okay. Can you guys think about giving more warning to people about limited sales, like a week, like when you tell people on Around the Verse, tell them the Thursday prior, not it's going on sale tomorrow, but it's going on sale in a week from tomorrow.
Yes, we can, and in fact, we are doing that. You're going to see a post tomorrow that is the 1 week warning post for our next concept sale.
All right, good. That's awesome. I can't wait to see that Carrick, or is that the Banu Merchantman? Or is that, okay, we'll wait until tomorrow. Yeah.
We're not going to tell you tomorrow either. So.
Oh, you're not? You're just going to tell us that there's a sale coming next week, and then you're going to tell us? Yeah. I like that better. Will you give us an idea of the price? That's important. Maybe. That's important because a lot of us work very close to the, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, this is one of the bigger ones.
$890.
I don't have a specific price yet, but this is
$890.
It's not the $890, but it's in that direction.
In that direction? Let's see. Starfarer, $890. Banu, Merchantman. Those are all big. Is there another big one? Retaliator?
No, it's one you haven't seen before.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, good. Thank you. That's it. Good. Sorry, I'm gonna edit that down so we don't get all those out. All right, that's cool. I like it. I like it. Last pieces are gonna have to do with hanger patches that you guys have in the works. 13.1, from my estimation, will be out next week. Does that sound like a good timeline for that?
Well, I can't give dates. We'd like it to be out next week.
All right.
The 13.1 it's actually kind of a big deal. It's got,
it's a big deal.
It's got the full key binding system.
It's going to be probably 3 weeks.
We're also putting in the ship selection for the hanger, so you'll be able to go to the website and say, okay, I want my 350 there, I want my 300 there, I want my Constellation in this bay, and that sort of thing.
Okay. Now, we know that the big reveal at PAX Australia is going to be the first-person shooter.
Well, a big reveal.
A big reveal. Is there any way that you can give us a general statement in which areas we could expect the announcements to be at CitizenCon?
Well, we kind of treat CitizenCon like it's our shareholder meeting. So you're going to hear from all the teams, what they've been working on, what they're going to be working on in the next year or so. We're working on a live demo of something I can't talk about yet.
Okay. Last year was Avenger, right?
I think it was the Bombers last year. We did the Bombers.
The Bombers, that's right. You did the Bombers.
So you're going to see some new ships. I don't want to spoil any more of it. But
no, that's fine. Like I said, very general. Very general. I hate giving away things.
If you're at the event, you'll see a very nicely toasted Ben afterwards.
Toasted
Ben.
Ben.
Such a good time last year. Looked really good.
I begged for help to come out there, and no one could help me because all of a sudden Apple dropped a training on me, and I couldn't go. So I have training the few days before the session, so couldn't get my ticket to go there. So that's pretty much it for today, Ben. I appreciate it, and I didn't ask you more than half of the questions that were sent to me.
Oh, cool.
All right. I tried to ask you more, but a lot of them I look at them and they're just things that you're not ready to answer. The big one is, can I have my Retaliator already? And obviously not if it's in gray boxing. It's not ready. It's actually past gray boxing now, right? They're doing the interior work.
I've found that the UK calls everything gray boxing. So.
Yeah? All right. So
they're really focused on the idea of doing these with as few textures as possible.
All right.
So their gray box Retaliator looks better than the Hornet did a year ago.
Oh, the big one is, can you do another, is there any way possible that if it's ready that you can do some kind of artwork or something in the near future on Around the Verse of the Bengal carrier, unless that's just being kept for Squadron 42? And the second piece of that is, are we going to get more of the Squadron 42 storyline prior to the release of Squadron 42, since that will be out before the PU? Like right now, there isn't a lot known about what that's about. We don't know where that fits into our universe.
We're keeping it under wraps intentionally. I'm sure I'll get the log line and the basic description before we launch, but we are intentionally keeping it a surprise. Bengal has not undergone any sort of rebuilding process because it's not used in the first bunch of missions in Squadron 42, so it hasn't been a priority. It's basically this giant task sitting on the shoulders of the UK guys.
But the Panther has been the Javelin, or whatever the Panther's called now.
Panther. In fact, they seem to have gone back to calling it the Panther. So
what?
They seem to have gone back to calling it the Panther.
Oh, so no name change.
No name change, although I will tell you the Surveyor has become the Reclaimer.
Which makes more sense.
Yeah, it does.
Surveyor to me is like a geologist ship going around. Like it would be like a explorer going around the asteroid fields looking for minerals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Reclaimer. All right, so you heard it here, people. That is where we're ending it. Thank you so much, Ben, for giving us the name of our Aegis Dynamics ship. Aegis Dynamics Surveyor, Anvil Carrick. Okay. And what I'm waiting for is the Herald. If I could turn it into a news ship, but now it's going to be too small to be a news ship. All right, Ben, thank you so much for all your time tonight, and I will talk to you soon. And anything else you want to tell anybody out there about what they can do when they have concerns instead of blasting the message boards with it? What are the ways that they can have their concerns heard?
No, I mean, I hate to say it, but absolutely blast the message
Okay.
boards. You can always contact me personally via the forums. I'm WC Loaf. I'm on Twitter, Bandit Loaf. Really, any way you can think to contact me or other members of the development team is fair
Right.
game. Post to Reddit. We're all over the place.
That's great. I haven't picked up Reddit yet. I think I'm going to get out there and start posting my shows out there.
I just started getting into it recently. It's a good group. And of
Yeah.
course, they're the people who brought up the project at the very start. So thanks, Reddit.
Good. That's awesome. Well, Ben, thank you again. I appreciate it, and we will be in contact soon. Thanks.
Awesome. Great to talk to you. Thanks for having me on.
Bye. And that's the end of the interview. Thank you very much for listening. And right now, I want to end the show with thanking everyone again. I had a lot of new subscribers today, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I try my hardest on this show, and I hope I'm bringing you content that you all want to see each week, which leads me to this. As you all know, I do quite a number of different shows. I do the Star Citizen AA News show, I do special reports, and I do Let's Pew Pew. If there's something that you want to see me doing in the Star Citizen universe, please leave a comment below and I'll make it work. I apologize for not getting my blog out this week. It has been a bear at work. I am very busy, which means I have 2 pieces of hanger flare to give away. And right now, because I did drop the ball in my vlog, I'm going to open up a 3rd piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away another one of those lockers. I think they're really cool and they really add to the ambiance of any one of the hangars. So if you do want one of those, I guess they're called, and I keep messing this up, it's called the Locker from Another Universe. Comment below saying, I'd like the locker, and I'll enter you into the contest. And for Monday's vlog, which I will be able to get out on time, I will definitely call 3 winners. 1 for the last giveaway show, 1 for the Self-Land Hangar, and 1 for this one. Thank you all for watching, viewing, and remember, if you like the show, to please click the thumbs up below. It really helps out the channel and gets me seated better in searches. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.